Hello everyone, welcome to musicstudios.co.nz. We are the video series that visits wonderful studios based in New Zealand, and we're with Zorran Mendonsa.
That's right.
Did I brutalize that?
You did not.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm
How are
good,
you, sir?
I'm very well.
Mate? Buddy?
Yeah. Whatever you feel
What a cool
like.
studio, man.
Thanks, bro.
This is really cool. You're so modest. Because when we hit each other up, I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, it's just, you know, it's a bedroom studio. And it is based in your home, but it's kind of next level, I reckon. Because you've got the nice, you know,
Yeah, well, I mean,
insulated sound and...
Well, thanks for that. Very kind of you. I guess you're always your own worst critic, in a way. But yeah, I did spend time and money trying to do the best job that I could with the space and hopefully make it a nice place for people to come and make music. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
I feel super comfortable. Here I am with just socks on. You know, it's just such a comfortable environment, and it's really inspiring. It's nice and clean.
Thanks, man.
And tell us about the journey of yourself as a musician and how you got to where you are now.
Okay. Well, I first heard Meshuggah. Well, no, I'm just kidding. I suppose I could cut short a little bit. I moved to New Zealand when I was 18.
Right. Okay.
And this was in 2003.
Yeah.
And made a couple of connections. One of them was Steve Bogue, who is in City of Souls at the moment. They're a cool band.
Cool.
And he sort of helped me out big time. Like he had a project that he was working on, and he was like, you know, you're into recording. I sent him some stuff that I was working on off my own. And he was like, hey, can I come and record some demos at your place? I was like, really? Yeah, sure, man. Like, just come on over on the weekends and stuff. And we would just, you know, and I was always interested in recording and sound. Sound was something that always struck a chord with me at whatever age. You know, my dad played the Beatles. It didn't super duper strike a nerve with me as a kid. But when I would hear stuff like Queen, for instance, that was like, what is that? Like, what's going on there? So stuff like that always, you know, picked my ear up. And, you know, I think that's kind of what got me into like rock, was like the big sound of like the big rock stuff. So
when you were you quite young when you sort of realized that you're really into sound production and that?
No, I think that's something I realized in time. But I knew I was into music. Yeah, because I was in
loved music.
Always loved music. Very musical family.
That's cool.
Extremely musical family, in fact. Like dad's.
Tell me about it.
Dad's into. Well, dad is a professional guitar teacher, but he's played in bands all throughout his life. Yeah. My eldest brother is a professional guitar player. He's amazing, and I think I got a lot of education through just being in the same house as him. You know, he would be learning and practicing 8 hours a day and honing his craft, and you know, listening to all sorts of guitar-based music mainly. And so that was quite awesome. A lot of education there. And in terms of sound and stuff like that, I think I always, being a sound engineer or being in the music line was always sort of a plan B, or was always sort of in the two things that I wanted to do, and the other one was cricket.
Cricket? You want to be a cricketer?
Believe it, I'm Indian, so I have to.
Here's your chance now.
Black caps if you're watching. So
cool.
So I mean, always into. What was your question again?
We're really just the genesis of where you came from. So, like, what was your first instrument? Did you have any formal training in terms of music?
No formal training. But there was always guitars around the house.
Yeah.
And, you know, always just go
sort
pick
of family
up and,
jams and that.
Yeah, lots of family jams was a huge thing. Like
really, that's so cool.
All our parties and stuff. Yeah. It was like pretty much land up at whoever's house and whip the guitars out.
That's great.
It was like, so I didn't know anything about my family and family friends, like where they worked or what they did. I knew what songs they sang. Yeah. I knew what were their staples. Yeah. And, you know, I knew if they sang in tune or not.
It's cool when that happens. Hey, like I've been to a few sort of house parties where that happens, where the TV is off, everything is off, and then it's just sort of like you've got, like you say, a guitar, communal guitar in the room, and you just go for gold or a piano. And it's such a nice thing.
It was amazing. I look back on those times, man, and, you know, I learned so much from them. Harmonies, learning about harmonies. Like, harmony is something like even amazing singers who come here can sometimes struggle with that because they just don't hear it enough or exposed to it enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sort of helping them write the harmonies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's something I trace back to those parties and hearing my mum and dad sing with harmony and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, those parties and the jams were super awesome. And yeah, I think I'm more well versed with music as a result of that, in general. And they played my folks would play country songs. And
That's cool.
yeah, so I got exposed to a lot of different stuff through that.
What kind of other interests do you have other than cricket and music? Is there anything else that you love to do? Riding a motorbike, for example?
Well, I recently started getting into like cars.
Yeah.
And
I can tell you're a cars guy because there's a few photos of cars I've seen since coming here. But yeah.
Yeah, so just recent. That's very recent.
Yeah.
And it was actually after having my daughter, and she started asking about the cars on the street and
Yes.
stuff like that. That kind of sparked an interest. But
Yep.
I love learning about anything really, and
Yeah.
I'm always interested in self-actualization.
Yeah.
Like people trying to be better versions of themselves. Anything that sort of pushes like the human endeavor really is something I'm really interested in. So it could just be movies or any art form or any sport or anything really. Like if something's done well, I'll always try and keep an open mind and explore it as opposed to writing it off as something that I'm not into. So even you could show me something cool about how shirts are made, and I'd probably be into it.
That's cool.
So yeah, just anything, man. And life is about learning in a way. So
Yeah.
if you stop learning, you're kind of gonna get bored pretty soon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good way of thinking about the world, eh? Like just kind of being curious, constantly curious, and
And there's so much to learn, man. And you can apply stuff from
Yeah.
one field into what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can learn lessons from something.
I think we're at the age now that that learning process is just so immediate. I remember talking to a musician. He's like, he grew up in the 70s or whatever, and he would have to train to his friend's house to learn about this chord that his friend kept talking about, and he would show him the chord on the guitar, and that was their way of sharing information. And now, like you say, with the immediate, instant gratification of information.
Too right, man.
Like you say, there's just so much to learn. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next in terms of learning something?
Well, in terms of music and mixing, I would love to get to a stage where I feel I'm happy as with my mixes.
Yeah.
And I think I'm always I can always hear something back and pick it apart a little bit, but I'd love to be on an absolute world-class level.
Yeah.
Something like a...
Hey man, I've heard this mix that you pulled up. It's really cool. It's sounding really good.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. No, it's really good. So, where did you learn to mix like that?
I learned to mix by myself pretty
Really?
much. Yeah, absolute trial and error. And I think if every year, I mean, I still am always trying to learn. And now you mentioned about information and the ease of technology. Like there's so much information out there, and you can pick up just one little thing from pretty much any video you watch. So I think a goal would be to make mixes sound as good as Chris Lord Algae or Ben Gross.
Maybe have your own CLA plugins one day.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you're talking about absolute dreams, then making plugins or
Anything's possible.
helping design guitars or
that's
even
cool.
like reviewing gear or something like that.
Do you
It's
like picking apart gear? Or are you one of those kind of guys that you sort of I've had a shock horror story of me. I remember I found something at a thrift store. It was a called Chaos Pad, and being really curious of what was inside it, and I picked it apart, and then I could never put it back together. And that was me. I was just like, I'm not that guy, because I've talked to a few other guys. They'd pick apart microphones and things. Do you find you're sort of twiddling on that kind of?
Well, I love knowing how they work.
Yeah.
So I'd sooner read about them rather than physically be hands-on, probably for fear of that happening. And especially if it's not my own gear.
Yeah, right.
I'd probably be sooner wanting to learn about stuff rather than probably if I didn't have kids, I'd probably have time to learn more about electronics, and it's definitely an area of interest. But yeah,
that's cool. And by the way, congratulations, there's a new kid coming as well. So
Thanks,
second
man.
one
Thank you
on
very
the way
much. Yep,
to join
very
the
soon.
family.
Probably.
How's it feel?
Feels exciting, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And because I didn't think I'd be into being a dad and stuff. I was just like,
Yeah.
it's something I'll probably do later and
Yeah.
just tick the box. And, I didn't realize how into it I'd be.
Yeah.
And it is creative in a way because you can sort of mold your own kid, obviously. It sounds simple. But, and especially at an age where they're just used to learning stuff on the daily. So you can just throw stuff at them and you'll be surprised what they can retain. So I found that to be extremely awesome and fascinating and rewarding.
Yeah.
Just, exposing my kid to different kinds of stuff. And,
Yeah.
and thankfully, now with the cell phones and Google, it's
Yeah.
like just, she'll ask me stuff like, what's the biggest number, or just anything really about cars or
Yeah.
whatever, even music, and we can just look it up in an instant.
Yeah.
I don't have to say I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it'll further her interest and stuff. So yeah,
That's exciting.
it is, man. And of course, like exposing music to her has been awesome.
Yeah.
I've made it a priority to expose a bit of the rock and metal and stuff.
No, it's the circle of life, This
man,
is what happened when you were
totally.
a kid, so that's really cool.
It's interesting. Those interesting words because we just watched The Lion King maybe a couple of weeks
Yes.
ago, and
Yeah.
they
good.
talk about the circle of life a lot and
Yeah.
stuff. So that was really cool.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, I try and pick out some metal versions of nursery rhymes and stuff. And,
That would make a cool album.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, there's some great stuff out there. If you're a metalhead and you're
Yeah.
stuck for stuff, even if you're a
I
rock
could just
fan,
imagine Twinkle Twinkle Star with Triple Kick. That's just.
bruh, that's
What's your favorite? What's your favorite music genre? Because you've worked with a few people, and I did bring notes this time because I was quite impressed when I was looking at your resume. To be
thanks,
honest,
man.
so you've worked with New Zealand acts like Devil's Skin, City of Souls. You mentioned Black River Drive, who I love. When I first heard of Black River Drive, I actually thought they were American, but they're just so quality. Blacklist, formerly known as Blind Spot. Bowringer, love her. That's awesome. Like, how
Yeah.
did you get such a great? I mean, you've also, you've toured with Imogen Heap
yes,
as a live sound
that was
engineer.
amazing. That was incredible.
I love her. Slipknot.
Bro.
I mean, this is a great resume. Like,
Well, I haven't worked with Slipknot.
Okay.
Just opened for them.
You just opened for
Not worked with them, like not mixed a song for them or anything.
because you're in a band as well. So
I used to be in a band.
So when you opened for Slipknot, which project was that?
That was with a band called New Way Home.
New Way Home.
And
Were you the guitarist?
yeah, I was a guitar player in that
Cool.
band.
Tell me about that. That's a cool story.
That was an amazing time, really, because I remember when I first came to New Zealand, I would go and watch them at Papa Jack's, which was an old venue in the city, and I would bus there because I didn't have a license or a car yet. I would just bus there and taxi back, or whatever, just going through extreme lengths. Not very extreme actually. That's so first world. But yeah, just going through extreme lengths of taxis and buses to see this band.
That is very first.
Super first world, eh? But yeah, I would, for a student, you'd have uni the next day and stuff like that. So it would be like, I don't care what's happening, just go and watch New Way Home, because they were super amazing. I just stand there awestruck watching them, and and I'd go home and play guitar straight after, even though it was like 3 a.m.
How do you open for a band like Slipknot though? Like, did they hear your music, or did your music get recommended?
I think there were a few bands that we opened for that did pick us based on the music.
That's cool.
That was really flattering because they're stuff that you actually listen to.
I'm gonna have to listen to some New Way Home now.
Yeah, you should. I think it's good. It's definitely it's a cool fusion of stuff. So there's obviously the heavy stuff, but there's also a lot of light stuff, and there's a lot of post-rocky kind of stuff going on as well.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool fusion. I think it's quite enjoyable. Very biased, of course.
Yeah, right.
But I think with opening for those bands, some of it was on the back of other opening slots, and
That's it, isn't it?
some of it was just you put your name in the hat and see what happens. But Slipknot was a huge highlight. That was awesome. Meshuggah was an amazing highlight.
Which one?
Meshuggah.
Meshuggah.
That's like my favorite metal band.
Oh,
at
the
least.
T-shirt you're wearing now?
Yeah, the T-shirt I'm wearing. Yeah.
So you're metal through and through.
I was born and brought up, I think, on metal. I think that was my first thing that I had to myself. Like, that was like not what my family was listening to, and it was something that was my own, relatively speaking. And I found a lot of expression through that, and people really liked some of the stuff that I did. So yeah, I think with metal, it's really interesting as well. Like even working with a lot of metal bands and stuff, I think you have to have that phase where you are a bit of a metalhead, and you have sort of been in a mosh pit at least once, or been to a few gigs, and just
I find metal, because I like certain metal. I've been to Marilyn Manson and all sorts of metal concerts. I find it's what I call like the thinking music. Like it makes you go, that was really interesting, that time signature. And
you'd be the first one to say that.
Really?
Because most
that's
people
why
think
I enjoy
that
metal. Yeah.
Most people think metal is for...
Well, they're just listening to the wrong metal.
Probably are.
They need to listen to some New Way Home. Pretty much. And Imogen Heap, I have to ask, because I love her.
Yep.
How did you become the live engineer for that?
Well, I was in India at the time doing another project. So this was her India tour.
Yep.
And through a bit of word of mouth, I think through some comment, I think she would have gone to the management of that particular tour and asked for some recommendations, and my name came up there.
Again, your name in the hat kind of thing, and it just happened.
Yeah, man. And it's just, I'm sometimes amazed that I've been doing this for 15 years full time. It's just crazy.
I'm amazed I haven't heard about you till today, but everyone else has. And I mean everyone. So no, it's really, really awesome to be here.
Thanks, man.
And hopefully we're going to talk about your studio, your music gear, your setup, and how people can contact you if they want to work with you.
Absolutely.
And and we're going to have a look around.
Cool.
See what you have in this wonderful space.
Sounds good.
That's cool. So thanks for watching. This is only part 1 of Zorran's lovely music studio. If you like this video, hit us a like, 2 likes, subscribe, recommend, forward.
The bell icon.
Yeah, everything, all that sort of stuff. We'd really appreciate it, and we really appreciate you watching. So thank you. Enjoy the next episode coming soon. Bye.